and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something very interesting, and I feel like it's just the foundation of building a spiritual connection with someone you're really close to, whether it's a friend, a partner, a family member. But this is how to build a spiritual connection with someone close to you. And the reason I want to mention them, or why it's important, is because it really helps you tap deep within, whether it's with the person or within yourself, to really enlighten yourself and enlighten your soul and be positive and optimistic. And in so many different ways, having a spiritual connection is so much more meaningful than the shallow and surface connections we're having with a lot of people. I would rather have a couple of deep connections than have a lot of connections that are very, very surface. And obviously there's a lot of connections in our life that we want on a surface level for a reason, but there's a lot of benefit of having a spiritual connection with someone. The first thing I want to talk about is you first need to really start from within. Because when you know yourself on a deep level, that's the energy you're going to attract. You're going to attract people who are deep, who are very meaningful, who have a lot of purpose in life, have a destination, shared similar goals. So when you have a deep connection with yourself, that will pave the way for you to have deep connections with other people. Because when people see you really admiring and having a deep connection with yourself, that's what they would want to have with you. But when they see you criticizing yourself or being shallow with yourself or not appreciating yourself, that is what you're going to attract. You're going to attract people who would do the same thing to you and not appreciate you. So you need to start appreciating yourself a little bit more. So that's first. The second thing I want to talk about is really understanding what makes you similar, or what are interests that you really want to have talks about. What are things that you feel like they will spark conversations that are just endless? Something that is just going to constantly make you want to know about that person's perspective, and just whether or not you agree on the approach, having those kind of perspective and conversations will really help you understand that person on a different level. And being able to understand them on a different level will make you understand yourself on a different level, yet you agree to disagree, or you agree on something, and that will just make you valuable to them, and it will make them valuable to you. Next thing I want to talk about is being authentic, being yourself. Because if you're not being yourself, you're really attracting someone to someone that is not you, and that will expire soon. That will not continue. Just being authentic is really important, because once you're being authentic with yourself, you're allowing a layer of transparency. You're allowing yourself to be comfortable in that situation, in that friendship or relationship or partnership, whatever it is. Being authentic is a very important one, and just being able to reflect on that person and be a mirror to them, and being able to compliment them, or being very honest with them in a lot of different things, whether it's a compliment, a feedback, something that you really recommend for them. Just being authentic is a very important point for having a deep spiritual connection with someone. And adding on to that point is be useful. Be a helping hand. Don't always think that I don't want to give energy to anyone other than myself. That is greediness, because I feel like we're supposed to be helpful. We're supposed to give back. We're supposed to be supportive. Like, I love helping people because I feel like I just appreciate when someone comes to me for help. That makes me happy. That makes me really love myself in terms of like I can add something to someone's life. That is not something bad. That is an amazing feeling. And the moment you help them, you can always rely on them. That's just something that will make a connection so much more deeper than any connection you ever had, because you're creating a bond of trust. And that is a very important aspect of any spiritual connection you have with anyone. Next thing I want to talk about is really share your spiritual journey. Share what you struggled with, share how you got there, whether it's the beliefs you believe in or not. There's a lot of impact when it comes to really being able to share with each other our true and foundations of spirituality. There's a lot of differences in terms of like values and beliefs, but it does not make a difference when it comes to sharing them. Learning is key. Learning is knowledge. Being able to learn someone else's spiritual journey just really makes you understand the world better. It makes you understand where they're coming from, what is their reasoning. And when I'm talking about spirituality, I'm just talking about a higher level of spirit and soul. That is just a different level. It's like once you start reading about it and learning about it, you start seeing a world in a very non-materialistic way. When you start tapping into spirituality and understanding the soul, you start looking at a world in a non-materialistic way. And what is better than that? Next thing I want to talk about that is very fascinating is being able to learn together. Find something that you both want to learn. That will become a lifelong memory for you both. Learning something with someone you will never forget them, and that will just create that deep bond as well, because you're eager, and the urge to learn and just being able to help each other, support each other throughout that journey is a very important thing, because spirituality also comes from knowledge. Being able to want to learn something with someone, having the same common interest towards learning that thing, will make you create a foundation of education and a foundation of creativity together. Another thing I want to talk about is really being able to trust each other's instincts, unless it really opposes yours. But giving someone's instinct a try or a trust, you just never know. It might work, especially if it's someone you already had such a deep connection with. Trusting each other's instincts continues on creating that trust bond that is very necessary, and it's just like a prerequisite of having a very spiritual connection with someone. There's so many more, but these are things that I just feel like help me have a deeper connection with people, is being able to really like point out the positive things about that person, and being able to be very specific about it. And whether there's a critique on it or not, just being very transparent. Like, you're not just giving false compliments, you're being very transparent and being supportive, and being able to be specific with what they're really good at and giving them compliments and feedback. That is a very good one, because they can always look at you like a mirror. If someone looks at you like a mirror, that is a deep spiritual connection, because you don't want to look at someone and you just look away and you're like, okay, this person is giving me fake and false results, false feedbacks in terms of what I asked, or just lying to me to my face. So I just feel like being able to be authentic in terms of like giving positive feedbacks and compliments is a very important point. The last thing I want to talk about here in terms of how to build a spiritual connection with someone is see how you can really help that person. There's so many different things and aspects in life that we can support people. So I feel like being able to support someone in a specific aspect in their life, they will never forget that. I will never forget somebody that taught me something, because I feel like that is just something that completely changed my life. And every day you learn something new, you become a new person. Whether you believe it or not, it's like in your brain, when you learn something new, you're enlightened to learn more, and you become more curious, you become more creative, you start having more questions in your head, which leads to answers, researching more. So I just feel like help each other, support each other, and not a lot of people deserve to have that spiritual connection with us, but I know you already thought about someone right now that you have or want to have a deeper spiritual connection with, and just try to follow those things and read a lot online. There's a lot of resources online that help you understand how to have a deeper connection with someone. And I feel like this is what we really need these days, because we can't rely on so many people, but we can rely on very few people that we have a deep bond with. Thank you, and I'm really happy that you watched this video, and I'll see you next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as comment if you have any extra tips on how to build a connection or a deeper spiritual connection with someone.